My accent is from Bulgaria. I know a lot of people wonder. The attitude is from Western Europe. And growing up in Bulgaria at that time was quite the chaos of different beliefs and different worldviews, in a sense. In my particular family, the system was communist, which meant we were not supposed to be religious. It was a no-no to go to church, and you had to believe into the party. It was very much here and now and working class based and no God. My dad was a nihilist, and he didn't believe in anything that you cannot touch or see or statistically prove, and quite a cynic with a great sense of humor. I gotta give him that. My grandma was Christian, especially when she was getting older, so she decided to kind of check in with the relationship just in case. And my mom was a Buddhist, so she was bringing me to all kinds of yoga classes when I was really small. So I grew up with a full spectrum of choose whatever it is, which was kind of really disorienting in some ways. So I had a deep spiritual search from pretty young. And I remember at some point making myself a god, because I wanted to have a god. I was not really offered one. It was not like force-fed one, which was good, but I wanted one. So I remember making at some point a balloon as a kid and decided that's going to be my god, and I called it after my first dog. And I watched it shrink for the next week, and that was my god. But I remember being in the spiritual journey of trying to figure out what is my own spirituality. I started going to meditation groups with 17, with 19 I was doing tantra retreats and going to gurus. So I started my guru shopping, went to the ashram, was a Pune head, and somewhere in my early 20s I was in Ibiza and I heard about ayahuasca. And I know a lot of people have the attitude of, when the right time is, she's gonna come to me. I was like, where is she? I'm gonna chase her down. So I had to do a lot of like, no, I'm a friend of getting to the ceremony. And I remember that was the first ceremony was with Yatra. She's a Brazilian shaman. And that's one of my anger, that's usually people so never prepared people about what to expect and what not to expect, but she did. And she said, you might die. And if you do, that's cool, enjoy, take notes, have the experience, really take it in, like see what it is about. I promise you will be here in the morning. But enjoy the experience if you do. So that was the first time when she kind of changed it from this horrible thing that I've seen so many of my friends struggle with and avoid, and when they start having it, spend half of the night kind of fighting in order to not die, to this like cosmic jackpot that you should be glad that you get the chance to experience. And in that night I died, and it was one of the most natural process. It was beautiful to see. I was totally programmed to know how to do it. And when all my human software closed, it was a humongous being of me that was so much bigger than this little character on planet Earth. And it was pretty much the download of, it was, Meriana died means like almost like your nail just got clipped. Oh, too bad, that clipped. But it also, and then it started like a huge multidimensional download of ayahuasca, almost like a video show of reality, like a video tutorial of showing me how big of a being I am and how little has even death in the system. There was this world and some other worlds that could die, they had death in the software, and so many of them couldn't. It was just not possible for a big part of the worlds I resided in. And it started breaking down concept after concept about what it means to be in the moment. You take the moment, you stop it, you become present to it, and it opens into this multidimensional portal. I was like, that's what the yogis were talking about while they were like, I'm in the moment, because that's where you can travel. And explaining me a lot of the concepts I had not understood before. I mean, I had been reading Set and a lot of other things, but she was explaining the whole thing with time-space and how it's simultaneous and the probable universes and how consciousness and information organize the different things and which worlds have time-space, which worlds don't have time-space, and so on. So finally I got kind of my connection to the divine. And there was a God realms, which were particular realms. God's a particular being, they just happen to make worlds, it's cool. And it was in a way, that was one of the first thankful things that I got from ayahuasca, was the really embodied spirituality and real deep connection to the multiverse and to our place in the multiverse, in when the universe and how little this thing is. And one of the big messages when she was saying, you have so little power here, Like you can be a Mother Teresa, you can only do good, and you can really try your best and feed the homeless and sacrifice yourself for humanity, and you can make who you are that much better. Or you can be a Hitler and rape and plunder and so on, and you can make who you are that much worse. But do good. Do good and have fun with it. Just don't take it too seriously, which has been a big thing I took away. And apart from our spiritual perspective, the big healing that I've been really thankful to ayahuasca for has been the personal level. And there is the part of me that goes into, yes, we're all Buddhas, and there's definitely a part of me which is a deep cynic. Do you guys know that feeling of like, are we really like Buddhas, or are we this like cancer thing in the planet Earth, and the humans are so fucked up, and we're such horrible, like a little bit cloudy this and this? And there were places me with deep anger and deep cynicism. And there were times when there were also, especially against my parents, there were times in my 20s where some things were triggered that I almost disowned them. I was gonna not speak with them for years. There was some really deep anger about the things that had happened in my childhood. And I remember like one of the ayahuasca ceremonies when I met the cosmic parents, and there were these kind of disembodied energy formations. And they were really they were such a high intelligence. They didn't need bodies, but they were the cosmic parents, and there was this really loving thing going, oh, kind of, and giving me the visions of our human condition. And I was a baby in the crib, made to be imperfect, made to shit in my pants. It was kind of a part of that. And my parents were the other babies in the other cribs. And it was so obvious that they didn't have a choice. And they were doing that thing they were doing anyway. And there was like, we came over with psychological malware and we were playing that thing. But it so took away the blame. It created such a big space for forgiveness. It healed that relationship so much. I mean, now it's a whole different thing. And another place where I was a complete cynic was actually in the last, let's say 5-something years ago, when I was going through a deep romantic betrayal, and I was really stuck in a really anger space over a romantic relationship or a particular betrayal where I was so angry for so long. And so I remember for a while like being against love itself, like wearing this I was like this button on my own primary for years. And at some point I remember bringing that up to Peru into one of the ayahuasca ceremonies after the conference, which I also went to, which was, yes, it's a madhouse, but they're good people. And going, ayahuasca, I'm sick of this. Like, can you like help me forgive or something? Because I'm getting sick of being angry. And at some point, like she came in with, and that's the thing, that she has the ability to almost speak. Like she does have the grandmother presence, like a really loving, caring presence with a lot of intelligence. And she was showing me that you cannot move on because you're frozen like this. And as long as you're frozen like this, like it's a freeze and you're not feeling really, in order to move this, we have to go into the places where you really were hurt. And we have to feel the pain. So for years I have been kind of almost warding off from the pain with anger, which was keeping me frozen with it, and there were places that couldn't clear. And I call her that at that point she started going into the channels of my heart and started moving places and kind of making me feel the pain and the pain and the pain and the pain. I was almost too proud to even feel the pain for a while, for years. So it was kind of good to have her blessing and her love and be the spiritual drano to clear the channels. And afterwards, it was beautiful to not even forgive the person, it was to let go of the experience and to finally even have good memories about that particular relationship. And now I wish it good. Now it's like a beautiful place of forgive and forget. And in some of the retreats I do, yes, people have deeply spiritual experiences, but that's been one of the experiences that comes again and again, is people being able for the first time to see their parents in a positive light sometimes. There was somebody in the February retreat who had only negative associations with their father, for the first time being able to see the love or to feel how limited he was and that was all he could offer. Or people being able to feel the different information we get from the ancestral lines, and how some of the ancestors who have been seen as these angry, impatient people, and how that's being helped, also the energy that pushed them to their children, and being able to see the humor and being able to reprogram to see the other part of that relationship and clear a lot of the DNA and almost the ancestral karma that we bring. And it's been I also teach a lot of the Psychonaut tools in some of my retreats. So how to also work with the experience in a way to maximize the healing potential of ayahuasca and to be able to shift in different states. But now, my mom wants to come to one of my next retreats. My grandma is cool with it for the first time because, I mean, she got it because of ayahuasca. I love my parents and we have a beautiful relationship right now.